Is very good morning to all and all. I think it is audible. It is audible.
Yes, sir. Audible,
Yes.
sir.
I think you are all ready for your presentation. I think from number 1, number 2, risk number 2 to risk number 22, ready to give their presentation. I think so. Yes, start your session. Starting from Abhinav Jairam. Go ahead, Abhinav Jairam. Abhinav or anyone from serial number 1 to 10, start your presentation. Let others will continue the session. Task point diagram is the title which is given for serial number 1 to 20. Is what happened?
Yes, sir. Abhishek Kumar Ramalli presenting.
Pardon, what happened, Arun Balaji? Who will start the session?
Sir, Abhishek Kumar only has the introduction part, sir.
Yes.
Sir, he's joining, sir. He's joining.
Yes. Yes, mistakenly I have said that is Abhishek Shakuria. Abhishek Shakuria. Yes, go ahead, Abhishek Shakuria. Okay, we will wait once Abhishek Shakuria will join. Chitash? Chitash?
Sir?
Chitash, have you sent the attendance, Chitash?
Sir, I have completed one sheet remaining, sir. I have one more sheet, sir.
Okay. I have requested Sabarni to assign to someone else because I have already assigned five days to you. Sabarni, you have assigned to whom, Sabarni?
Hello?
Yes, Abhishek Shakuria.
Yes, sir.
Yes, wait a moment. I'll ask you to present. Wait a moment. Sabarni?
Yes, it's like yesterday only Chita said that he will do it, so I thought I don't need to assign it to anyone else. But like, if you ask me right now, I'll assign it to at least someone else also.
Chitash, it is okay for you to get the attendance for 5 more days, or will request some other to do so?
Yes,
Because,
sir. Someone others, sir. I
yes,
thought it is same as you sent.
that will be better. That will be better. Sabarni, ask someone to do so,
sir.
Sabarni.
Yes, sir. I'll ask.
It is feasible. Rahul, I think Rahul given active participation in the last session. Rahul?
Yes, sir.
Rahul, it is feasible you to get the attendance for 5 days?
Sir, 5 days in a sense like
from the Excel which is downloaded from the MS Team, you need to get the absentees and you need to upload in the some other Excel.
Okay, sir, I can, sir. Yeah.
Yes,
do I have the access, sir? Like, can I like only owner or the presenter can, I guess?
No, I'll share the documents. Sabarni will share.
I will send you the sheet.
Like, okay, sir. Fine, sir.
Thank you. Yes, Abhishek Shakuria, the session is yours. You can start your presentation, and this is your assignment too. And Chitas, one more thing. And what was the last date for our session as per the curriculum, as per the academic calendar? What was the last date?
Sir, specifically, I think they haven't mentioned, sir. Maybe this month end, I think, sir.
Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only then we have around 9 days, including 12th, that is 12, 13, 14, 19, 20, 21, and 26, 27, 28. And we have 12 different topics, and I have assigned only 3. And we will rush up other rest 9 into 6 different days. That I will plan and I will share through group. Anyway, 12, 13, 14, we will, as per our earlier plan, we will go. Okay, Abhishek Shakuriya.
Yes, sir. Sir, we'll go through the order that we decided, that our group decided.
Yes,
So
sure.
like we can present a better information in a better organized manner.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Sir, Abhishek has joined, sir. Abhishek Kumar Ram, he will be present.
Yes, go ahead. Start streaming the PPT and start your presentation.
Off. Hello, sir.
Yes, Abhishek.
So, yeah, am I audible, sir?
Sure. Yes. Yes, what happened? Abhishek Kumar Ram. Arun Balaji, who is going to start first? Arun Balaji.
Abhishek Kumar Ram, sir.
Yes, then start your presentation. Abhishek, earlier your audio is clear.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Abhishek, start your presentation, Abhishek.
Sir, can I please get 1 minute, sir? I have just joined using my laptop, so I was on my phone. So I didn't know that we need to present it separately. Can I get just 1 minute, sir? Please, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, till Abhishek presentation will discuss the current affairs. Go ahead with the current affairs. I think election in all 5 states completed, I think so. And apart from election, what are the current affairs? One IIT affected by COVID second wave a lot. And what was the name of that IIT? And suspended till communication like that. The class is suspended. And do you aware about it? Someone, you unmute your mic and you share your views. From my part, this is everything. I think over. I have shared around 100 of units into you people all, and I have circulated the CD Mark 1 and concerning the assignment 1 and CT2. Very soon I'll circulate the marks, and yes, go ahead with the current affairs. Is concerning Hindu. Mamta provoked people, says Shah. That was the headlines. Bengal CM speaks to kin of victims, and for second day cases cross 1.5 lakh, and even when it was in the first wave, the cases, number of cases identified on the whole in the country, we have crossed during the second wave, and that is what other information which is in the first page of Hindu. And the investment project bounce back in Q4 survey, and Congress candidate Madhavra dies of viral pneumonia, and that was the headlines in Hindu. And de-escalation trend positive, says China. And regarding the line of actual control and some issues between China and India, I think you are all aware about it. And the war against second wave started like that. Dinamani headline says Prime Minister says about the we need to start the war against the second wave of corona. And yes, got with the current affairs. Do you don't have any points to discuss?
Sir, Queen Elizabeth's husband, sir.
Balaji, yes, Balaji.
Queen Elizabeth's husband, Philip.
Yes, I think.
Yeah, he died on April 9th.
Yes.
Something interesting about his death was he died on the 99th day of the 99th year.
99th day of
Of
99th
his 99th year.
Yeah. Oh, that was interesting. And I think Pratik.
Yes, sir. Sir, not
Yes.
any issue-specific news, but sir, this thing, COVID news, sir. Actually, our state Chhattisgarh, sir, the cases are rising exponentially nowadays. And out of it, the new lockdown stuff and announced in the state, according to which 17 of the 28 districts are shut down mode. So because actually this the sudden rise has been seen because of the match which was announced in Raipur district of Chhattisgarh.
Chhattisgarh. You're talking about Chhattisgarh. Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is unfortunate, but we have to be very cautious. We have crossed the first wave in a successful manner, and similarly, we need to be very aware when we are roaming outside, and we need to follow the rules and the guidelines which was disseminated by the government of India, and as well as per the guidelines of the state concern.
Sir, but I feel the main reason for this thing is the state leniency in the starting point. At the starting, the Congress government didn't pay much attention to this thing, the second wave actually. During the second wave, our CM went to Assam for this Congress campaigns and all, and they even allowed the match to happen in the Raipur. So these were the main things because of which a lot of movement took place around during those parts. This thing during the match part, people from all the districts visited Raipur.
Yes, of course, it may be, but concerning the government, they are not ready to again put a complete lockdown. See what happened in Brazil, and the president of Brazil doesn't want to get down with the economics. That how we can deal with that, we don't know. Without lockdown, and we need to conscious about the reduction of number of cases throughout the state. that was without affecting the economics, how it is feasible. That was the concern of the state. And of course, it is right. When we are concerning about the life, and we are talking about the economics, life is we have to sacrifice one thing, and we need to get the life of the people. We need to be very aware. Yes.
And sir, to be
And
honest, because of
Chhattisgarh,
this,
yes,
because of this
Pratik,
lockdown thing, yes,
yes,
sir.
go ahead.
Yes, so because of this lockdown thing and all, black marketing started in our area. Like people are opening shops late night, because late night in the sense illegally, and people are going there to buy stuff, and that too at higher prices and all.
Yes, 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 yes. The election among the 5 different states, Chhattisgarh one among the state, Pratik.
No, sir, Chhattisgarh elections haven't happened yet.
Oh, you still the rise exponentially happening.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. So because I told you, because of those things only, the massive events which are organized.
Oh.
So there were rallies of people going from different district to Raipur, and Raipur is right now the hotspot of Chhattisgarh for COVID cases.
Oh. Anyway, be cautious. Be cautious.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Abhishek.
So I'm ready to present.
Yes, start your presentation.
Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Good morning, sir, and all my friends. I am Abhishek Kumar Ram, and I, along with my teammates Arun Balaji, Abhishek Kumre, Anand Modi, Abhishek Shaurya, Abhishek Chapatkar, Aditya, and Amritpal, is going to give an itemized and comprehensive presentation regarding task point diagram or task space. So before starting, let me give you a brief and particularized introduction so that you can get a clear view that what exactly task space is. So as you can see in the introduction PPT, task space or partition space is defined by the position and the orientation of the end effector of a robot. Joint space is defined by a vector whose components are the translation and angular displacement of each joint of a robotic link. The common linear pit does not include any component of the robot dynamics into its control law whenever it is used in joint space or task space. Joint space and task space regulations are two most common control schemes for robot manipulators. Since the final control goal is normally in task space, it is more natural to design a robot controller in task space. Task space PD control is the simplest scheme to control robot manipulators. It can be classified into transpose Jacobian and inverse Jacobian control. In the regulation case, similar with joint space, any positive gains or PD controllers in task space guarantee stability bounded. However, asymptotic stability is not guaranteed when manipulators' dynamics contain the gravitational Torx vector, friction, and the other uncertainties, unless model-based compensation is applied. Some nonlinear PD controllers can also achieve asymptotic stability, such as PD control, nonlinear gains, and sliding mode compensation. Now, let me give you a brief introduction regarding the task-based robot manipulators. Robot manipulators play an important role in the industry automation field in recent years. One of the irreplaceable capabilities of robot manipulators is high accuracy and high speed performance of trajectory tracking. Therefore, engineers have sought to realize their automatic control by various control methods such as sliding mode control (SMC), adaptive control, neural network methods, and fuzzy logic control. The automatic control of robots manipulators present a unique challenge from
Yes,
the
just a
control
minute,
aspect.
just a minute. Abhishek, just a minute. And concerning this numerical neural network methods and fuzzy logic, you can find some papers in my name also. I have worked towards fuzzy logic and neural network,
Yes, sir.
and which is categorized as AI, artificial intelligence.
Okay,
And
sir.
you can go to Google Scholar and give my name with fuzzy logic and neural network. You can find some papers.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
go ahead. Go ahead. It is a very, very interesting topic that too related with artificial intelligence.
Okay, sir. So I will
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
The automatic control of robot manipulators presents a unique challenge from the control aspect, which is caused inherent large non-linearities and external certainties in the system dynamics. It is difficult to establish an accurate dynamic model of a robot manipulator system which limits the particular application of a control method. So it is noteworthy that time delay estimation (TDA) provides a simple way to solve above problems. The main idea of the TDA is to estimate unknown dynamics and disturbance by intentionally using the delayed information. Okay, the main advantage of TDA mitigation is that it allows you to solve problems without any time delay. So with this note, I end my introduction on the task base and I hand over to my teammates so that they can present the another topic. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now I will be sharing.
Yes. Go ahead.
Is my screen visible and am I audible?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we just got to know about the introduction to the task space or task control points from Abhishek Kumar Ram. Now let us look into the differences between task space and workspace. Most of you might be knowing what a workspace or work envelope, and you know what a task space is. Now, why does the difference in workspace and task space arises? Why is there a difference? For example, let us imagine a laser. Okay, a laser light. Um, it will be pointing laser at one direction. Say it has 3 degrees of freedom. That is rotation along all three axes: the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. Now, when the laser rotates along the axis of the laser light, there won't be any difference. It's not of any use. Because even if it rotates, the laser is going to point at the same direction, same point, everything is going to be the same. Hence, the task space is only two. That is rotation about y-axis and z-axis, and not rotation about x-axis. Whereas workspace, all the three. Rotation about x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. That's the reason as to why we get a difference in the workspace and task space. Always a task space will be subset or equal to the subset of workspace. Next, it's time for an activity. So one simple activity. What will be the workspace for a hand? Can anyone come up with an answer? Normal human hand, right hand. Anyone, can you please come up with an answer?
Sphere.
Huh? Yeah, sphere. Okay. Okay, you're correct. So, according to this, you can even have a right hand behind your back, right? Because the workspace is here and behind your back is also part of the workspace. But can you write at that point? Writing. Is it possible? Yes or no?
Yes.
You mean you can write with your hand behind your back?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you're one special kind of human being. But it is very difficult and like 99.99% of the time you can't do it. Therefore, behind your back is not a task space. Just in front of you, 25 centimeter below your eyesight, is your writing space, and that is the task space. Exactly. Next one. Abhishek Kumar Ram also told us something about joint space. What is the relation between a joint space and a task space? The thing is, from joint space to task space, we use forward kinematics, and from task space to joint space, we use inverse or reverse kinematics. Next, I'll sum everything up and we'll come to a common conclusion. Important notes about the task space and the workspace. Okay. Task space and the workspace relate to configurations of the end effector of a robot and not of the entire robot's configuration. Yes, that's true. If there is a 2D linear robot with just two linear joints, linear links with rotational joints, then it is same as having four links which sum up to the same length of the two links with rotational joints all linear. They are the same, right? But their configurations are different. End effector configurations are a bit different. Hence, we cannot talk about a robot by just knowing the task space and the workspace. Next, the user can decide that some freedoms of the end effectors, for example, its orientation, do not need to be represented for the task space and the workspace. Like, I just gave you an example of a laser. The rotation along the axis of the laser need not be mentioned because that is not of any use for a task space. Next, we have a point in the task space or the C space. C space is nothing but configuration space. Can be reached by more than one robot configuration. Okay, we all know forward and reverse kinematics diagrams, right? It is same as going from 1 to in the Cartesian plane. It is same as going 1 to 1 and 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1, 1 to 1, 2, and 0, 0 to 0, 2, and 0, 0, 2 to 1, 2. It says the same thing over here. Next, we have all points in the workspace are reachable by at least one configuration of the robot. Basic, the definition of a workspace. The longest point the end effector can reach. That is called, that will be defined as a workspace. So, last, we have a 2D planar robotic arm. So you have to come up with the task space and the workspace. For two cases, one case A1 is greater than A2, The next case, A1 is less than or equal to A2. What would be the task phase in both the cases? Can someone task phase, workspace in both the cases. Can someone come up with an answer? What will be the workspace of this arm?
A circle.
Yes. Yeah, circle with radius.
A1 plus A2.
Yeah, correct. Now, if A1 is greater than A2, then you can tell that the task space will be like a disk. Because when the arm A2 takes a complete rotation and it goes over A1, it won't cover the entire A1 because A2 is lesser than A1. 1 second. Yeah. Like if I come from A2 to A1, only this much is covered. So the task space is just like this. Whereas if I take the second case, A1 is less than or equal to A2. In that case, A1 plus A2 is the whole circle. A2 can come ahead of A1 or with A1. So it covers the entire circle. That is the difference between a workspace and task space for you guys. Thank you.
Yes, very good, Arun Balaji. With examples, it was good. And Abhishek Kumar Ram also very good. And please continue the session.
For 2 minutes, just sharing.
Yes. For tomorrow's presentation, one consolidate and one has to present. And presenting from 10 different points is very hard, and it will take time also. And for tomorrow's presentation, I request one, you collect all the contents and consolidate and present. And let the audio can be streamed from the point by point.
Amritpal is sharing for me. I'm using phone.
Screen is visible or not?
Yes, Amit.
PPT is visible or not, sir?
PPT, I think populating. Yes, task point configuration. Yes.
Yes, sir. This PPT is for Abhishek Kumre. He is not having a laptop, so I am sharing his PPT file.
Our topic is task
Yes,
points
yes.
and configuration. Sir, am I audible? Sir?
Yes.
Points in the task space which must be reached by the end effector while working on the certain task called task points. These points in this task space can be reached by various robot configuration. Therefore, they need to find the optimal robot configuration for a specific task. The crucial point in the determining the optimal robot configuration is formulating an objective function that will assign a goodness value to every assembly configuration accomplishing a specified task. Since that task point cannot be reached without some certain configuration according to given task, that's why we are using some goodness values to specify the robot configuration for getting the task done. There are 2 components of a robot task: the task specification and constraints must be considered in formulating the objective function. We call this function an assembly configuration evaluation function, ACEF. The assembly configuration with the greatest ACEF value is deemed optimal. Can you change the slide? Hello. Amrit, can you change the slide?
Yeah, I have done.
I can see that. Okay, the ACF consists of two parts, task and structure evaluation. The task evaluation is performed according to the given task specification. The task points or the position of the end effector and the designated criteria measure, such as the dexterity or manipulability. A workspace check on the task points is executed before computing the measures for filtering out inaccessible points. Since task point cannot be reached without a certain configuration, that's why we are doing a checking first. Structure evaluation assess the kinematic constraints, joint singularity and redundancy like interference and environmental constraints imposed on a robot in accomplishing the assigned task. We are not using some certain any other environment in the give an example. Can you change the slide? Hello. Here is a schematic of how to calculate the ACEF for a serial model robot taken from the book. So the aim here is with predefined number of DOF and predefined topology, and we go to the structure evaluation first with a mapping function, which terminates the different mechanical constraint or kinematic features, undesirable kinematic features. And after doing this task, we will get some ECF values for a serial modular robot, which will give the goodness value to how much extent a robot can be used for a certain task. Thank you.
Sir, I'll present now.
Yes, Anand Modi. Yes, Anand Modi.
Is the screen visible, sir?
Yes. Give F5. Give F5 and present.
Sorry?
Give F5. Slide share. Give F5. Function 5 and present.
Is it okay now, sir?
Yes.
So this topic is task-based trajectories. This is very common and very important function that industrial robotics has to go through. This is very clearly visible in CNC machines that we have been studying in this semester, and it is so Cartesian space is just another name for task space, as it was mentioned in the first introduction by Abhishek. So general trajectory planning methods proposed in the joint space, which is basically the phi coordinates and the r coordinates, can be applied in a similar way using inverse kinematics in the Cartesian space. But when planning a trajectory for the three orientation angles, the resulting motion is not very easy to visualize. So it's preferred that every trajectory is planned in Cartesian plane because of its better visualization ability. And a very important concept in any trajectory is interpolation, and one part of interpolation is polynomial interpolation. So if we assume a function of points, let's say I've taken the example of qt, which is a third order polynomial. So, and there are four constraints, which are basically a, b, c, and d. four variables A, B, C, and D. And for us to solve this equation, we need four constraints, which are basically the initial point q0, q1, and the velocity at initial position and the velocity at the end position. And we can find the velocity easily by differentiating the first equation. A very important thing over here is that we are parameterizing the time limit, which is in the range of 0 to 1, which can be considered at 0 second to 1 second. Since we have these constraints, we can easily come up with values for variables C and D, and also for we can form equations according to Q0, V0, Q1, V1, which would result into the following four equations. Since we have the values of C and D, we can take A and B in terms of V0, V1, Q1, Q0, and we would get the following two equations. And this can be solved using normal linear algebra using matrix manipulation. And this is the function in which we equate the constants to the variables, and taking the inverse of the matrix, we can find AB and ABCD. And we can in order to solve a higher order polynomial equations, we would need more constants. For instance, if there's a equation which is n order, we would need n plus 1 constraints to be defined. Over here it's a 5th order degree polynomial, so we would need 6 constants, which are basically initial and final positions, initial and final velocities, and initial and final accelerations. And we would and according to that we would manipulate we would get the values of Q0, Q1, V0, V1, A0, A1, and we would perform the matrix manipulation again. Planning a very simple task is straight line trajectory planning in Cartesian space. As it is mentioned, it is a important part for industrial robotics. It is used in welding a linear seam, painting a car, or even conveyor belts. And how we do it is that we given start and end points, we divide it equally in the task space, and then we compute the inverse kinematics on each of those n interval points, and then we move the robot with the inverse kinematics solution associated with each successive Cartesian interval. As I initially said, that it is preferable to use the Cartesian or the task space because it is easy to visualize the trajectory. It also gives us the desired path that we want. And the cons is that we need inverse kinematics to be calculated, which can be computationally heavy. And smooth trajectories are very hard to map on the Cartesian space. In Cartesian space, it also gives us the shortest Euclidean path, which is the most energy conservative. And straight line path minimizes inertial force on grippers and anything it may be carrying. Cartesian trajectory can be robot independent too. And yes, the cons are again it is very computationally demanding, and it has a complexity associated with it. Thank you.
Yes, how long we can take? Others, please respond. Abhishek, just a moment,
Yes, sir.
Abhishek. How long we can take? Others, please respond me. What was the subsequent class? someone. Chitash, what was next class?
Sir, unconventional machining.
Unconventional machining. Today class is that. Shall we continue the presentation till there are some 6 other people has to disseminate? How long we can take? Yes, anyway, we'll request Abhishek to. Yes, go ahead, Sitash.
Yes, sir. We can continue till some 11:40 or something.
Yes. Then okay. 11:40 will okay. Okay, till 11:40 will. Okay, Abhishek, go ahead, Abhishek.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Is the PPT visible?
Yes.
So the topic is task-based controller, and the subtopics that we will cover in this topic are joint space controller, task-based controller, and advantages of task-based controller over space controller. So the first subtopic is joint space controller. Before diving in, let's quickly go through the definition of joint space. Joint space is defined by a vector whose components are the translational and angular displacements of each joint of a robotic link. Now, joint space control. First of all, robots are programmed and controlled to execute specific tasks defined in the task space. In the joint space-based control, tasks are first mapped into the joint space through inverse kinematic techniques, and the controller is designed in task space based on the information about the joint space. Also, the robot is controlled to track the trajectory in joint space, and the trajectory in task space can then be followed because the mapping from joint space to task space is injected. Joint space controllers can further be divided into two groups. First one is a classical joint control. The second one is a model-based control. Generic classic joint control approach does not consider the effect of robot dynamics. What happened during the initially early days of robotics, even the interaction between the joint variables was ignored. This approach can easily be designed, analyzed, and implemented using the single input / single output classical PID. PID also stands for proportional integral derivative technique because no computation is needed for complicated kinematic and dynamic effects. Also, classical joint control is not only simple to implement but also stable and robust. To date, this controller is the most popular because it is the one best suited to practical applications, and modern non-linear control schemes are too complicated for the industry robotic applications. However, the robotic system is a highly non-linear dynamical system with multi-coupling variables. In application where either high speed or high precision is required, non-linear dynamic and coupling effects play a significant role that ignoring them in controller design will cause robot performance to deteriorate. In order to design high-performance controller, dynamic effects must be taken into consideration. There are two steps in the design approach. First one, the inner feed-forward loop design for eliminating dynamic effects, and the second one, PD outer loop design for feedback control. The inner feed-forward loop is designed to eliminate dynamic effects, non-linearity, and coupling based on the availability of perfect dynamic model. It is realized by a computed torque controller which linearizes robotic system. In the computed torque approach, knowledge of the dynamic information of robotic systems is a prerequisite. This is the model-based approach. Now, let's understand task-based controller. First, let's recall the definition of task space that we saw in the introduction slide. Task space, or also known as Cartesian space, is defined by the position and orientation of the end effector of a robot. Now, task-based controller. In task-based controller, task is first designed in task space and then transformed into talk space. The task-based controller is designed differently from the joint space controller. and the task-based control is not as well understood as joint space control, and its design methodology is less established. Also, task-based controllers can be further categorized into position controllers and P/F controllers. The former refer to a robot whose end effectors move freely in 3D space, and the latter refers to a robot whose end effector is in contact with constraining environments so that some degree of freedoms are eliminated. Now, before moving on to the advantages, it is important to know whether in task space or joint space control, the task is always designed in task space, whereas control output is always realized in torque space. The fundamental difference between task space and joint space controllers is in their mapping relations from task to torque spaces. Now, let's move on to the advantages. So the advantages are as follows. The major advantages is robot programming can be faster, and the geometrical data from CAD robot packages can be directly used to program robots, greatly reducing the complexity of robot programming. Because controllers are designed based directly on information in task space, they are more sensitive to environments and can be made more intelligent. And because no inverse kinematics is needed, robots can be properly controlled even in the case of kinematic singularity, as long as no predefined motion exists in the singular direction. Okay. Now Abhishek Chapatkar will take over and will explain the design.
Hello, sir. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, fine, sir. Hello, everyone. I am Abhishek, and I'll be explaining the design of task space controller for redundant robots. So, at first, we will see the design of 3 controller for redundant robots. So, basically, its design has traditionally been based on the joint space approach. And the foundation of this design of 3 controller is a pseudo inverse of the Jacobian. So in the next point, we will see the difference between the redundant and non-redundant robots. So the redundant robots differ from non-redundant robots in that they have more degrees of freedom than are required to obtain the desired kinematics and static properties of end effectors. So Abhishek Shorya, can you please move to next slide? So the next point is accordingly the torque space can be divided into 2 parts. One affects the properties of end effectors in the task space, and the other affects only the internal motion in the joint space. Basically, in other words, we can say that whether the joint space or the task space approach is adopted, the controller of a redundant robot is composed of 2 parts. One is an external subcontroller for the task domain, and the second one is an internal subcontroller for the internal motion. So next is there are different approaches for developing the task space controllers. Generally, the external subcontroller is designed in the task space and transformed into the torque space, and the internal subcontroller is designed in the internal subspace of a task space according to some criteria. But in this, there is some dimensional inconsistency. But in both the approaches, the space approach and the task approach, this dimensional inconsistency is resolved. In joint space approach, it is resolved through the decomposition of joint space, which determines the desired joint space trajectory. And in the task space approach, it is resolved through the decomposition of the task space. So next topic will be elaborated by Amritpal.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, yes.
So my name is Amritpal. I will present now.
Yes.
Screen is visible, sir.
Yes.
So today I'm going to explain about some topics on robotic manipulators. So let's discuss why I'm choosing this topic, robotic manipulators. When we are talking about robotics, we have to do some manipulations. Is this like a robot is doing right or not? How robot is performing for his commands. So a robotic manipulator is a kinematic chain, that is an assembly of pairs of rigid robots that can move respect to one another via a mechanical constraint. The rigid bodies are called links. The mechanical constraints are called joints. Next slide is robotic arm. Uh, in uh, in assignments, we have talked about a question. What are the specifications for a robot? We have given a point that a robot should be work in a wide area. Its work of approach should be large. So joints are performing some good role in his work of space. If a robot has more joints, it can perform more area of work. So joints are necessary. And common manipulators. Most industrial manipulators have 6 or fewer joints. The first 3 joints are the arm, the remaining joints are the waist. It is common to describe such manipulators using the joints of the arm, like R revolute joint and P prismatic joints. These are some joints. So thank you. This was me. Thanks.
Is Aditya again? Namla Srikanth?
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Aditya. Yes, Aditya.
So I'm going to represent on the topic exoskeleton control architect, which comes under humanoid space task. These two pictures are examples of exoskeleton control architect. One is humanoid leg and another is humanoid arm. Humanoid legs are useful for leg paralyzed patients and polio patients. And the arms are useful for lifting heavy things and the rehabilitation of shoulders. Now we will be discussing about exoskeleton control architecture. The control architecture consists of independent PD server controllers at each joint implemented on a joint controller analog circuit boards with feed-forward talk commands computed on a centralized controller running on two Motorola PPC603 parallel processor with the commercial real-time operating system VS work. The basic robotic language is variable assembly language. We will see some commands and their execution. The first is signal command, and the execution is the port will turn on if the signal is positive, and it will turn off if the signal is negative. And if the command is move the arm or leg move to the coordinate point in space stored in variable name. Next, potentiometer and load cell at each joint positional and torque feedback respectively. Joint velocity and acceleration are computed numerically by differentiating the position signal. The signal are filtered with the second order Butterworth filter with cutoff frequency of 33.6 Hz for position velocity and torque, and 4.8 Hz for acceleration, because acceleration signal requires more aggressive filtering because of the noise amplification by numerical differentiation. The centralized controller updates the feed-forward commands and PD set points at 480 Hz. Next, we will see about exoskeleton control formulation. Ideally, the user should not be burdened by the exoskeleton while executing movements. Therefore, the control schemes need to be compensated for the exoskeleton gravity, Coriolis, and inertia forces. Typically, robot manipulate the use for sensor to the end effector to measure the applied by user and apply control law that generate a particular independent characteristic at the point where the user holds the manipulandum. In contrast to these previous approaches, which focused on investigation of end effector movement of human arms, our current robotics setup is to engineer joint level effect of human motor control. Thus, we do not have a constraint in the form of desired impedance at end effector, but rather impedance control of every degree of freedom, in as much as we cannot reliably attach force sensor between human arm and every link of the robot. We resorted to a model-based control approaches. These are to increase the stability of the robot. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Request Agilan and Amala Srikanth, you continue tomorrow, and please join in the other class. And Chitas, and for tomorrow's presentation, we'll start from Agilan and Amala Srikanth, so that you give a session for them, and then you start your presentation from Ananthakrishnan G, Ananthakrishnan to Sirish Babu, and I request consolidate slide and present from one end. And concerning the today's presentation, I request Shaguria, you consolidate these PPTs and you upload in the MS Team, Shaguria. I think Shaguria is the right person to consolidate, and the 10 people you share your content to Shaguria. Even I request Agilan and Srikanth also to send the content to Abhishek Shakuria. You consolidate the PPT and upload in our MS Team. Okay, and thank you for the nice presentation. Thank you, good. And Sitash,
yes, sir.
Prabhakar is in today present. Molatu Prabhakar, number 62. 62 present. Chitash, you share his number. He belongs to your class?
Yes, sir, I think so.
You kindly share his number and do Chitash, get a fine replacement for Wednesday, because Wednesday declared as a holiday due to Ambedkar birth date, and it was declared as holiday by the institute. And if it is okay with the same schedule, we can go. Yes, get some other day for completing that particular schedule. You have a conversation with your friends and others here, and give a right time for compensate the Wednesday's class.
Sure, sir.
Okay, thank you, Anandal. We'll meet tomorrow. Yes, Abhishek.
Sir, after consolidating, I should upload it in MS Team, right?
Yes. You upload it in MS Team. I'll upload it into the Google Classroom.
Okay.
Yes. Tomorrow 11:30. Thank you, Anandal. Thank you.